Right now, across modern urban centers, billions of dollars in capital are sitting completely locked up. We see it in inflated corporate healthcare reserves, we breathe it in unchecked emissions, and municipalities bleed it out through unverified subsidy programs. You might assume that all the fitness trackers and smartwatches we wear could solve this by proving people are making healthy, low-emission choices, but they can't. Security researchers call it the Authentication Gap, the massive blind spot between a digital user profile and the physical presence of that user actually performing an activity. A smartphone with a GPS tracker running doesn't prove you rode a bike to work. That phone could be handed to a surrogate, spoofed by third-party software, or simply tossed onto the passenger seat of a moving car. For institutional actuaries and corporate carbon registries, an honor system is entirely useless. They require mathematical certainty before they can adjust a financial model or issue a credit. Until human movement can be cryptographically bound to a physical event, it remains a financially useless metric. The Dandy Horse Inc. solved this exact problem by engineering a multi-factor verification engine known as VIDAT. The engine explicitly closes the authentication gap through a multi-layer binding protocol. Biometric prompts establish the writer's identity, while NFC and RFID tags physically affixed to the bicycle frame and wheels confirm the specific equipment is actually present. Then a secondary validation layer kicks in. The engine analyzes raw sensor streams for bicycle-specific cadence and motion patterns, and map matches the GPS trace against logical commute corridors. It actively corroborates the absence of a motorized engine by monitoring for vehicle Bluetooth handshakes. This multi-factor sequence produces an audit-grade, tamper-resistant data packet suitable for institutional use. Because that data is actuarially defensible, a single verified commute generates 3 completely separate institutional revenue streams. The first stream is HRRAAS, or Healthcare Reserve Release as a Service. Self-insured employers are legally required to keep massive pools of capital in reserve to cover the projected health claims of their workforce. Because predicting future illness is difficult, actuaries pad these reserves with a margin for adverse deviation, a financial buffer added specifically to account for the statistical uncertainty of standard industry health tables. This chart shows exactly how those healthcare reserves are structured. When an actuary substitutes generalized industry estimates with VIDAT's verified longitudinal behavioral data, the statistical uncertainty of the estimate drops. The margin for adverse deviation shrinks, and the difference is liberated as new surplus capital. This is a strict compliance mechanism. Under actuarial standards of practice, incorporating verified data is a professional obligation. Excluding it requires written justification. HRRAS provides chief financial officers with immediate, non-dilutive liquidity by reducing uncertainty in stagnant reserves. The second economic output channels that same verified ride into the climate market as BCCAC, Bicycle Commuter Carbon Avoidance Credits. Major registries demand a standard called additionality. You have to prove an emission was definitively avoided. A verified bicycle commute documented with RFID tags, vehicle VIN absences, and route mapping proves that a specific combustion engine trip was replaced. That multi-factor proof easily exceeds the standards of voluntary market offsets, which often rely on project-level baseline estimates that are highly speculative and frequently manipulated. BCCAC functions as a legal CEQA standard for VMT reduction, providing sustainability officers with an audit-grade compliance asset for SEC and ISSB reporting. The third stream, Slingshot, takes that exact same data packet and applies it to financial inclusion. In many urban areas, unbanked communities are blocked from adopting e-bikes due to low credit scores. Municipalities try to fix this with voucher programs, but writing a $1,400 check gives the city zero visibility into whether the bike is actually used for commuting or simply resold. Slingshot solves this by feeding VIDAT's continuous verified behavioral data directly to local credit unions. The habit of daily commuting acts as a real-time alternative credit proxy. Instead of relying on a FICO score, a local credit union can safely underwrite a zero-interest e-bike loan because the borrower's reliable daily commute mathematically de-risks the lending profile. It replaces untrackable municipal handouts with structured lending partnerships, ensuring that financial inclusion directly results in utilized, measurable transit infrastructure. When cities integrate this ecosystem, the physical bike lane functions as the data capture point for all 3 revenue silos. Every verified mile ridden over that asphalt triggers a financial event, liberating reserves, generating credits, or de-risking a loan. This creates a recurring stream of operating capital that municipalities can use to fund micromobility goals without new budget amendments. The entire economic model is protected by U.S. Patent 11,998,801b2. It creates a deep structural moat because software alone cannot replicate the physical binding of rider to vehicle. Patent 11,998,801b2 establishes the physical binding between a user and their equipment, providing the mathematical certainty needed to treat human movement as a verified financial instrument. Physical action is now capital. Keep the rubber side down.